PLAYERUNKNOW'S Battlegrounds is the unstoppable juggernaut battle royale shooter that sold tens of millions of copies before even being fully released. Its highly addictive appeal lies in the way it forces players to make split-second strategic and tactical decisions based on constantly shifting priorities. The good news is you can experience PUBG on high settings at 60 frames per second in 1080p if you're playing on a GTX 1060 or above. So here are 5 agonizing dilemmas that will set you on the path to death or chicken dinner glory. Before the bloodbath even begins, you'll need to decide where on the map to drop. There are hotspots such as the school, prison or the military base, and then there are the small villages, individual houses and barns. The best loot is concentrated in the former, but so too are the most competitive players, and they'll usually be armed to the teeth within seconds of landing. To survive, you'll need to be aggressive, efficient and lucky. Head to the middle of nowhere and you'll enjoy a far more relaxed early game experience, but will probably have to make do with second-rate gear. If you're playing to win, and there's no second prize remember, then confrontation with powerfully geared opponents is inevitable. Even before you face the drop zone dilemma, you can stack the deck in your favour by making sure you're playing at a smooth, high frame rate. A GeForce GTX 1060 with a recent i3 rig will see you comfortably hit 60 FPS at 1080p with high settings, whilst a GTX 1070 will dish up equally crisp performance at 1440p. But if you want to truly relish every pixel, then a GeForce GTX 1080 Ti will allow you to hit 60 frames per second in 4K. Back on the ground though, you're also going to need to decide when it's time to switch priorities from looting equipment to getting into a good position on the map in the most tactical way possible. With weak gear, you'll be at a huge disadvantage once the game compacts, and time is not on your side. Once the blue ring of slow death starts closing in, it's easy to find yourself in a position where you're putting all your efforts into outpacing it. That means you're tactically compromised, and all the bullets in the world won't save you from players who have already repositioned to safe vantage points and are scanning the blue for anyone they can pick off or pin down in the death zone. You'd better hope they're not running a GTX 10 series, because with view distance set to ultra, you'll be visible from literally miles away. The big red crates that are regularly airdropped into the map contain the most powerful weapons and items in the game, which means successfully looting one will put you in a very happy place. They're tempting, but the slow parachute descent and billows of red smoke also make them an obvious spot for an ambush. So when one drops nearby, you'll need to decide to hit it and run, or set up in a position to fire on anyone else who does. Move in and you'll be easy prey for anyone watching. Hold back and you risk letting a player you've just tried to kill become really well geared after your ham-fisted aim lets you down. And it should go without saying, there's a very decent chance that someone else will be watching you watching the crate. Even in PUBG, it can sometimes be better to live and let live. Scoring a kill brings you one step closer to victory and can net a lot of great gear in very little time. On the flip side though, unless you're lucky enough to be carrying suppressed weapons, then your fire is going to attract a lot of attention. If there's a third party nearby, then they're going to know exactly where you are, roughly what kind of weapon you're using, and crucially, that your attention is focused on someone other than them. Of course, there's also a good chance that your intended victim will turn out to be a brutally effective killer who'll turn on a dime and shoot you right in your face. Them's the breaks. Once you're engaged, unless you take your prey out immediately, then they'll be looking to take cover ASAP. That means you'll need to decide whether to keep your cover or push on them. A frag or stun grenade can be handy here, but if there's no time for that, then you're going to need to make a tough decision. Push, and you can expect them to see you coming thanks to the third-person camera. Hold back, and they'll doubtless use that reprieve to heal any wounds you've inflicted and put themselves on an even playing field. Last but not least, as a seasoned PUBG player, you'll face one more dilemma, and this one is IRL. Should you upgrade your graphics card to a GeForce GTX 10 series for the competitive edge you'll gain from higher, smoother frame rates at better resolutions? Trust your instincts.